For those with good taste.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Lenny from For Those with Good Taste, with kind of a special episode for you this week. A little different. I'm sure if you're watching, you're kind of looking around like, well, this is a lot different. That's because it is. I am running solo Dolo today. I am going to be on my own for the entirety of however long this goes. Matt, unfortunately, is unable to make it this week. Logistics, things like that, life and all of it comes up. So, we got to make do with what we have here. I look forward to being able to sit down and talk to him. I'll probably see him on Tuesday and we can record again. But I just, there's so much hot content out there that I just couldn't keep it from you guys. And I saw this as a really cool opportunity, to be honest with you. Just because I've watched my buddy Steve over at Hey Archer for a long time be able to do a podcast on his own with nobody else there and just talk. And man, I've always looked at it and I've always just been like, I have no fucking clue how he does it. I rely on Matt a ton, just obviously he does a lot just in terms of the overall production of the podcast, but at its sole base of everything, having somebody to bounce stuff off of is huge. It makes a big difference. And to sit here and like fill dead air on your own, it just seems like it's a very intimidating task, and I feel very exposed, but it seemed like a challenge I kind of wanted to take on, and I feel like I'm for lack of a better way of putting it, I feel like I'm at least experienced enough in this now. I mean, we're about 6 months in where I wanted to give it a shot, right? Like, let's sit down and let's just talk into a microphone by ourselves. Let's talk to you at home and let's see where it takes us. With that being said, I usually, to let down the guard, and we like to obviously in here break the fourth wall a little bit. I normally sit over here and I have a nice TV screen to my left that you guys can never see. And it would normally have a bunch of really cool shit on there, including a timer to let me know when my camera's got to be reset and just kind of where I'm at with things. We would also have a structure for the show. Maybe we might have some stuff that we know we're going to talk about. And if we forget things, we have a couple links to be able to click on to help, pick up our train of thought. Today, we've got none of that though. So we're going to make the best of it, right? So basically on the agenda, I've got a couple things. I obviously want to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We're going to get to that at the end though. We're also going to be talking a little bit of Mighty Ducks Game Changers because that's my new favorite show on TV. At some point, I'll probably find a way to weasel in some wrestling stuff and maybe even some Buffy, just because that's what I'm currently into when I'm watching on my spare time. But let's start here. A couple of new additions to the room. Starting with, if you didn't notice, with my solo set, I have just put some diehard characters here. I wanted to kind of differentiate a little bit on this one. So I had gotten these this week. There's still a couple more to complete the collection, but it's pretty fucking awesome if you ask me. Die Hard, my favorite movie. This seemed all too perfect to add to the set. Secondly, I'm sitting in a new chair here. You probably can't see because for once I'm behind the table, but I do have armrests. It is not without issue, though, that I am now in this new chair because, unfortunately, I did not take into consideration measurement because why would I? And the table's like a hair too small, or is the chair a hair too big? I don't know. But it hits the side of this thing. And if you can tell, there's little beads of water because I've spilt my water multiple times already. I've knocked these characters over. It's been an all-out fucking train wreck, but we're pushing through. We're making the best of it. This is a weird one. So, like I said, wrestling. Peacock. Do you have it? If you don't, you should look into it. You probably have it for free because from what I understand, they just include it in everything. I had Comcast until 2 months ago. I had no idea I could have had Peacock just at the tips of my fucking fingertips, right? But now I have the cock whenever I need it, dude. The cock's in my hand whenever I need it. Whenever I pick up this thing, it's the cock's in my hand, So I can watch wrestling. NXT TakeOver the past 2 nights, I've been watching it. Tomorrow, Saturday, that is, and also Sunday, I will be watching WrestleMania's Night 1 and 2. Personally, I'm excited for it, but I get excited for WrestleMania every year. It gets me like super nostalgic, like I'm a little kid again. I don't know what you guys' like first memories might be out there if you were wrestling fans. I feel like everybody probably has been at once or another in their life. Just not most of you are like me, where you just kind of never grew up. I have like Peter Pan syndrome when it comes to wrestling, I guess. But for me, I remember, I think back to, it was WrestleMania in Boston way back in the day. And I didn't go to this or anything, but I just, obviously it was in my hometown. So it stuck out to me back then, but it had Mike Tyson on it. And it was Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. And it was just, Stone Cold at that point was larger than life. This was another one of those next steps in his like ascension to the top of wrestling. And it was just incredible. And Mike Tyson, obviously at that point, was still the baddest man on the planet. Quite frankly, might still be the baddest man on the planet. But at this point, like peak Tyson, peak Austin, it was just a swirl of like fucking everything perfect that could happen. And that's what wrestling can do. This year, I don't know if you're necessarily going to get any of that. I wouldn't lie to you on that stuff. But if you were going to watch anything from this weekend, check out the main event coming on night 2. It's going to be a triple threat. It involves Roman Reigns, who's at like the peak of his career right now. The best heel in the business, I think. There's probably a lot of people who don't agree with me on that. A lot of people are probably a little more partial to AEW. But just on my side of things, I think that Roman Reigns has got to be the best of the best. Daniel Bryan, who everybody loves that guy. The Yes Movement always got over. I'm sure you've heard of him. And in addition, the return of Edge, who, when we think back to the 90s and we think back to WrestleManias, has had his fair share of moments, obviously. Great match with The Undertaker. When he was trying to break the streak, couldn't quite get there. I believe he did win a championship, though, at WrestleMania. Maybe it was against like Triple H and John Cena or something. I might be wrong on that one, but the biggest one everybody obviously remembers, and you're like, why aren't you saying that? Is the triple threat ladder match was just fucking bonkers, right? That one's always going to stand out. The Hardy Boys, for me, a personal favorite growing up. That he's going to be returning for what should have been his WrestleMania moment last year. This year, it got put off because he got hurt. He tore his, I believe, pec or his tricep last year. Had to take the whole year off. Misses his big WrestleMania moment. Has come back this year, and unfortunately, a little bit of rain on his parade. We've ended up with Daniel Bryan being added into this triple threat after Edge went bell to bell in the Royal Rumble. That doesn't happen very often. And this guy's over 40 years old, coming back from retirement. This was supposed to be like a crowning moment in his career, triumphant return to go against the biggest heel, like I said, in the business. But fucking Daniel Bryan, man, this guy just finds a way to kind of step in and find a way into these triple threat scenarios. He did it a few years back. I think it was like 7 years now, when he got into the main event of Randy Orton and Batista by kind of crowd support. And this year, it just seems like he's doing it again. So like I said, if you're going to watch anything on the cock this weekend, like I said, the cock is always in your hand. Every time you have a cell phone, the cock's in your hand. You can watch this. Check out WrestleMania. Be a part of the conversation. I'm sure me and Matt will have sometime next week. And now check it out. But let's get on to it. Let's get on to the reviews for the week. I won't bore you any longer with my wrestling diatribes or my chair conundrums. Let's get on to the real stuff, the real main events. I did say earlier I was going to be staring at my phone. I have a little timer up here, but I also, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I have notes. I don't normally do this, but because I was going to be talking for so long by myself, I thought it was like kind of necessary to keep myself a little on track because, like I said earlier, Matt usually reins it in for me a little bit. But let's talk about Mighty Ducks. I never make this much eye contact either, so I hope you guys are appreciating this. This is like I'm really fucking in there right now. So Mighty Ducks. I've been super high on this show for the past few weeks. I still am super high on it. This would maybe be my favorite show on TV right now, as crazy as that sounds. And I don't know if it's the nostalgia getting the best of me or if this show is just genuinely good. But I think from everybody I'm talking to, it seems like everybody's kind of on the same page as me when it comes to this, that not always do reboots, sequels, however you want to kind of look at this being, live up to the hype. But I think this show is finding a way. And maybe it's because there's a lot of stuff we've kind of looked at, I think, over time, and we're like, like that could make a better TV show, or like that'd be really cool if they expand on this in a TV format, or if we saw this get made into a movie, it would be great. And it goes vice versa. And I think we probably had that conversation on here before. But this is another instance where I think it did really work to, instead of just going back to this, because this could have very easily been on Disney's part, just being honest. Like, we all grew up with, or a lot of people my age grew up with, the Disney Channel movie, like Smart House, Luck of the Irish. There's a million more, right? Alley Cat Strike is another one of my favorites. All of those movies, they're all good movies, but they're just good TV movies. They're a little corny. We have low expectations for them. Uh, that they could have very easily brought back the Mighty Ducks and just done a corny, straight to DVD, straight to Disney Plus in this instance. Just TV show, and maybe not even brought back, Emilio Estevez or any of that. And people would have watched it. They could have done a money grab, and I guarantee you, people my age with kids would have 100% watched it, and it would have had some moderate success. But instead, they decided to go the other route, and I think it's been the major victory in the series is that they took the route of 10 episodes to really flesh out what they have. And they've clearly, in my mind at least, written over the first 3 episodes, or is it 4 episodes now? I believe it's 3 episodes. They've kind of built a story that I think at least for me, I'm interested in, and I want to kind of see where it's going. In each episode, we've gotten kind of a progression and an answer to some of the questions we've had, and a lot of really cool characters that I've really appreciated that are unique to themselves. So this episode here, I'm titling it Gordon Got His Groove Back, because I think that's what it's got to be called, right? Like, this is another one where we're seeing the rebirth of the Gordon Bombay character, which I kind of hate, but I really appreciate at the same time. Like, I hate it because I just want him to be, Coach Bombay. I want him to be Gordon Bombay, that guy that I watched grow over 3 movies. I want him to be that. But I also understand that for the sake of a TV show, you need to have an arc, and I like that I'm slowly starting to see that rust come off of him. I'm starting to see, the guard let down, and I'm really excited to continue to get more of that growth in his character. And obviously for the people who are younger who are watching this, that aren't just a fucking 30-year-old guy like me watching kids shows, you're getting to see a character from its beginning maybe, and you're seeing him be a closed off person, and you're just going to know him as a guy who is cranky at the beginning of the TV show and is happy by the end of it, right? So we start off this episode just much like we've been in the other 2, where they're practicing the team, the what are they fucking called? I hate this team name. I'm gonna get into that later. The Don't Bothers. Yeah, don't bother saying the name, right? So the Don't Bothers, they're practicing, and it's another practice, and Gordon Bombay rolls out on the ice on the Zamboni, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here, guys! Like, what are you doing, clowns? You can't even skate. I need to clean the ice. Just get out of here," right? Tells them to kick rocks. Mama Dukes is like, "Dude, like, come on, loosen up. Like, we're on the ice already, blah, 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 blah." Somewhere in there, Coco Girl is getting broken up with, and I believe his name's Nick. I'm a big fan of Nick. Another thing you're going to find, just before I get back to the Mighty Ducks, is without Matt here, I know no names. One of the things that's normally on that screen is IMDb pages. So if I start calling people Carl, that's just because it's a defense mechanism. I don't know their names. Their name's Carl. If I don't know them, they're going to be Carl. So just assume that that's not really their name, but it is kind of their name because they're Carl, but they're not Carl. Cool. We're good. So Nick, the person I did know his name, he's macking on Hot Chocolate Girl, who's been dumped by Hot Chocolate Boy, but Hot Chocolate Boy delivers the hot chocolate while Hot Chocolate Girl administers the hot chocolate. You got to watch it. But he's really, this kid is really breaking down walls, right? Doing the damn thing. While at the same time, Tucker, main character, Carl, he is also macking on the other girl, the girl from the Ducks, the girl he's been macking on for the first 2 episodes, okay? I'm a big fan of her. She seems like she's a nice enough girl. I support her being with Cooper or Carl, whatever his name is. Carl's going to date female Carl. We're going to figure out if female Carl and boy Carl are a mesh. They work together, right? They go on a date. And I immediately am taken, like, this whole 3rd episode feels like it's like shots at me is what I'm kind of finding during the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes of it, because it's like I have Nick over here slinging it at Hot Chocolate Girl. And then I'm just going to call him Cooper for this one. I know I said Carl, but we're going to stick with Cooper because it seems right. We have Cooper over here. And Cooper is talking to, you know what? I'm going to do this girl a favor. I'm just going to look up her name because she shouldn't be Carl. She's probably nice enough. Be a little better to her, right? I hope you guys don't mind this. I should have just had it ready on my phone. Again, I don't know how Steve does this, man. You just talk and you talk and you talk. Oh, okay. So it wasn't Cooper at all. It was Evan. And the other girl is Sophie. Okay, so Sophie's all about her grades. Mom's all about her grades. Sophie's all about being a duck. Wants to be the best of the best, needs to go to college. So my guy, Evan, somehow tricks her into going on a date with her, gets the whole team to like kind of go along with it. And we end up with this scenario where they're out studying, eating some pizza. Another duck shows up. He's a dick. The thing I didn't like during this, though, is the girl, the waitress. She comes over and she's just like, oh, is this a first date? Well, if it was, bitch, you just ruined it for me, right? Like, why are you over here? Why are you doing this? Like, if it was a first date and I'm 12 years old in this scenario, I might never go on a date again, right? You might have just crushed any spirit I had because in that moment, I couldn't be like, yo, I'm going on, it's on a fucking date. No, I don't have the confidence yet to say it's a date. You should have just left it alone. This girl could possibly have cooties. I don't know anything about her. But nope, this waitress butts in where her fucking nose doesn't belong, right? And here we are. This kid's whole date scenario is ruined. His pizza's not even good anymore. All right. So up next. Somewhere in here, they're practicing, and Gordon has seen the Carl, the kid who showed up in the first episode wearing the Toronto outfit, right? Um, kind of a cake eater. Yeah, he's a cake eater. He's definitely just a cake eater, right? He is the one who can't skate at all. Gordon sees him fall on the puck, and they're all trying to get it out from underneath him, and he can't. So he goes to Ma Dukes, which is Laura Graham, which is Alex. Okay, Alex. I'm getting it now. So he steals Alex's little notebook, thinks up a play. Light bulbs going off. Gordon Bombay jots down a play. Doesn't want anybody to know, though, because he's still an ice queen. That heart, it's an ice box. Omarion said it best. There is an ice box where his heart used to be, and he's just trying to let it thaw out. And it's getting there, but it's not quite there yet. So in moments when nobody's looking at him, he's willing to kind of break out of the shell he's in a little bit. But when the moments are that the spotlight's really on him, he can't really let that guard down. He can't let him in just quite yet, right? So we move on to the next game that the boys have. I actually missed a little part. They go out to dinner. They do the homework, all that stuff. The next day, the girl gets a B, and she's like, "Bro, you fucked me. My parents are pissed. I'm fucking pissed. You're a loser. I have a B. B's are stupid. They have circles and lines, and she just fucking hates the B's. I don't blame her. B's not a good fucking letter. I always personally strived for C's. So she's not having it. Not going to join the Don't Bother. She's going to not bother joining the Don't Bother. So no more of that, right? We're into the game now. Quite simply, it's just a normal game. These kids are really fucking bad. The kid that annoys me the most, honestly, and the one person I thought I liked but I don't like anymore is the goalie. Not a huge fan of him because the first episode they show this goalie just catching stuff, nothing's getting by him. In this episode, the kid couldn't even fall down. All right. Some of the charm about Goldberg was the kid could take a fucking bump. The kid was bumping his ass off, right? He was sliding to and fro. He was getting dangled on every chance they came up the ice on him, and he was trying his best. They all went in, but he was trying his damnedest to stop him, right? This kid is not trying at all. I'm not even like, because remember, like Goldberg was afraid of the shots, right, coming at him. Speaking of which, I'm going to get back to this. I remember this happening because one of the things I watched today, they did a 30 for 30 on the Game Changers, by the way. It was about the Flying V. I'll put it in the description down below. So if you guys want to check it out, you can. It's like 8 minutes long. It's pretty fucking good, though. They like have actual ESPN people. It's way too serious for itself, but I like it all at the same time because it's stupid. They have like the old Ducks back to talk about the Flying V and talk about the games, but they're talking about it as if it's real. Check it out. But in that, they show clips of how Gordon Bombay made the Ducks so good. And I remember it reminded me of when they strapped up the arms of Goldberg on both sides. And it was like, you need to get hit by the fucking puck. Stop running away from him, right? This kid's not even afraid of him. he just can't be fucking bothered to put the effort out. And I'm not about it, man. As a person who spent most of his life overweight, I actually prided myself on being a good goalie when it came to like floor hockey and stuff. I get that like ice hockey is a little bit different. The degree of difficulty may be a little higher, but that was one of the things I really prided myself. I wasn't going to run up and down the whole court or the floor or whatever it was, right? I wasn't going to do that. I didn't have the stamina. But you put me in a net, you put some pads on me. Oh, I was a steel fucking trap, dude. There was nothing getting by me, right? I'll strap him up now. I don't think you could score on me. This kid's trash. Anywho, at this point, they're losing literally 17-0. Getting stomped on. Not even a chance. The over-under on this game probably was like 7. They flew past it. The spread might have been -16. These kids are bad. But finally, she's scrolling through the book of plays that she has that she's found on the internet, Alex's, and she finds this play that she didn't write. And she's like, what is this? She ends up calling a timeout, throws the timeout signal, and calls him in. And she ends up running this play. And the play is Cake Eater falls on the puck, or fake falls on the puck, while the goalie, for the first time the whole fucking game, bends over and grabs the puck. And then all of a sudden, Cooper, or Evan, I got it, Evan, goalie, drops it on the other side. It was kind of like is it the Statue of Liberty play in football? I think it's the Statue of Liberty, or it's like the hidden baseball trick in the baseball game, right? It's a pretty dope one. Yeah. So he ends up going down ice, gets the puck. Nobody's looking at him, and ski old, look over there, and then they skate down the ice on the other side. The thing that bothered me here, though, the goal is fantastic. Like, this is maybe the best goal I've ever seen in a Mighty Ducks game ever. But the issue is, it's coming from Cooper, right? The kid who is supposed to be the worst person on the Ducks previously, right? He was the worst of the worst on the Ducks. And he's now on a team that's just full of bad people, but he is somehow all of a sudden the best skater in the fucking world. The dude does a triple sow cow. A sow cow, people. Spins around, tip of the stick on the puck, spinning around in circles, and then puts this thing top shelf. I don't know. I don't watch hockey. I just watched the Ducks. And it just didn't seem likely, right? But he then talks trash to somebody else, which was beyond me because, dude, you scored once, act like you've been there, right? But he scores on him, and the team's psyched. Time's run out. I forgot to mention this on the play. There's egregious trippings. The kid who just throws himself into walls, he literally slides into 2 people. The refs just swallow the whistle. For the 15 plus years I've watched Mighty Ducks, I feel like these refs have been swallowing the whistle just a bit much. Like, you're not looking out for the kids? Do you not care about the kids, Pee-wee refs? Got dominated. Not to mention, Cooper, he scores. He's macking on the girl who, again, he has better game than I fucking have. This kid is like, hey, you see that? You check out the goal? Yeah, and I got past you, didn't I? Damn, check me out. And these 2 fucking cock blocks just stroll on through and bury this kid. And the ref's just like, oh, penalty. The game's fucking over, buddy. Like, they should get suspended. That's assault, brother. That is assault. Ridiculous. And the mom wasn't upset enough about that. She's just like cheering through that. That's her son. That's her baby. I don't know how that works, but that didn't seem right. So yeah, Alex then goes in. Well, we get the scene of like them cheering about scoring 1 goal, and the Ducks coach is, of course, just being a dickhead, not cool guy at all. Can't say I was a fan of him, and we're not supposed to, I suppose. But I can't wait to see him play it. But Sophie, she is like, they're having fun, and you're criticizing us for letting up 1 goal in a game we won by 16 of them. Buddy, like, I can't be here anymore. This is terrible. So she goes over to the don't bothers, and she's like, I'm going to bother now. I'm in. Sign me up, coach, but you're the captain, Cooper. C for Cooper. Alex goes and talks to Gordon Bombay from here. And we get kind of this is the moment I was talking about at the beginning. Like, this is the return of the Bombay, right? This is Ali Bombastic. Ali Bombastic. Not going to work. Probably not going to work. But I had a couple points to make here because she's just like, I've looked you up. I know how good you are. You're a fucking coach, dude. I know about your whole history. You were a great college coach. And this leads to him finally letting us know why he's so bitter towards the game of hockey. And it's like, I was great. I was the best of the best. I was a great high school coach or a great, Pee Wee coach, high school coach. And then I was a fantastic college coach. But I got suspended for paying somebody's money, paying for them to be able to afford some supplies. And while I don't have an issue with this happening, like, or him saying this, I kind of wish he had have not said he couldn't afford tape for his stick, right? Because he could have just left it at he couldn't afford anything. It almost seems like bullshit, which I already think it's bullshit, to be completely honest with you. If you're a college coach, don't lie to us, Gordon. I love you to death, buddy. Don't fucking lie to us. You probably pay all your players, right? So it wasn't just the fact that this kid couldn't afford tape for his stick. Like, you don't have something better than that, tape for his stick? Say, like, he couldn't pay for a fucking flight. I know you probably got him a Rolex or something, but don't insult my intelligence and don't insult Alex's. Sorry, I gotta drink. I drink a lot of water as it is, and now it's like I'm talking up a fucking storm. Last thing I'll say on this, because it was fucking sick. He's like, this is why I'm not in the game anymore. And she's like, dude, we're still here for you. And you've never seemed fucking happier than you are here. Like, in those little brief moments we're seeing, like, you clearly still want to do this and we want you to be a part of it. And we're going to be here. So whenever you're ready, join up. And we get at the very end of the episode, him going up to a sign that says no hockey that we've seen a few times now. And he's removing that sign. And it's symbolism, I suppose. But we know what the next step is. Like, we got our coach back, everybody. We got Gordon Bombay back in a hockey rink, showing some kids what's what. I did want to ask, is there a better nickname out there than the Minnesota Miracle Man, though? It's one of my favorites. I've named a couple fantasy teams it now at this point. The Minnesota Miracle Men hold a special spot. That nickname is fantastic. That's up there with, like, in sports nicknames, it's like the Great Bambino. You got, like, the Truth, the Answer. Who else is out there? Let me know some other ones, but I think the Minnesota Miracle Man stands up there with just about any of the best ones. So if you have any other ones you can think of, please let me know out there, but I just can't see it happening. Last thing we got in the episode before I move on to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, these kids are talking to each other at the end of the episode on their iPhones, FaceTiming, with wired headphones. This is 2021. That just wouldn't happen. I hate to point out the things that aren't realistic, but, like, Gordon Bombay definitely paid kids to go to college for him way before some kid couldn't afford, like, tape for a stick. And these kids would for sure have AirPods. I just know for a fact they would. It's not realistic to say they wouldn't. So please, if you haven't checked the show out, check it out. I need some people to talk to about it. If you have, let me know what you think. Do you feel the same way I do? I've been really into it. I think it's great. It's one of the best reboots I've seen, maybe the best. If you've seen something better, or if you just don't like it, I'd love to hear why. So hit us up in the chat, y'all. Please do. Right down there in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking. Next up, I wanted to get into something I should have probably let off the top with, and I hate to say it, it kind of slipped my mind because obviously there's just trying to do this on my own. There's a lot going on in my head. I'm probably moving too fast at this point too. Slow it down a little bit. Got the bad news today that of the passing of DMX, and I don't want to stay too long. This isn't something we normally would spend too much time on because we want to just talk about happy things. We don't want to bring down the mood, but I would be remiss, I suppose would be the word I'm looking for, if I didn't bring up DMX and just say, rest in peace. That this is a person who I think, in the simplest way, everybody's going to remember his music as something that's gotten you hyped up at one point or another. I don't think anybody who played some type of athletic or has gone to a gym at some point in their life hasn't used a DMX song to get you over the edge or get you to that point of hype. Those songs are always going to stick with us, right? Like the X Gonna Give It To You, Rough Riders Anthem, like those songs I think are always, like, you're going to hear it and they're always going to hold a special part in your life or in your heart because those songs were just so impactful. For a very long time, I know me and my friends always talked about, and it's, it's sad to talk about now, especially, obviously, but, like, there's those people, if you looked at, if their career had have stopped at a certain point, they never put out anything else, where would they be ranked all time? Because, you know, the stuff about like Tupac or Biggie is that they're going to be immortalized because they never got a chance to put out any bad music, right? And if you're around for 20 years, 30 years of music, you're going to put out something that can be criticized. All great artists face that, but the people who gone out early, you know, it's awful that they do, and I don't want to put that as like it's a great thing that it happened, but one of the things is your music maybe gets a little more immortalized in that way. And the thing I had always said about DMX is that he would be a top 5 rapper of all time if he had stopped after his first like 3 albums. Um, the one that always stood out to me personally, and it's kind of funny because it's like those songs that I mentioned, you know, Rough Rider Anthem, Party Up would be another one. Those are the ones that I think I know the most words and I've listened to probably more than anything else, of course. But the album that always stands out to me a little bit more with him is Grand Champ. And I think it's just because that's the album I remember buying myself and having the explicit version. And it had Where the Hood At on it. And I like I fucking love that song. And then it also had the song Ayo Kato that showed me like a different side of DMX that I guess I never really knew. And it was like a little bit more of a softer, nothing with him was soft, but it was about a person that he had known who had passed away. And it was a really just like emotional and good song. And I always, it just stood out to me when I listened to that album. So those two songs on that one album have always kind of stuck with me. So the Grand Champ was the one that I think is going to hold the best part in my life as far as the album he put out. But I just wanted to say, man, he's just a fantastic artist, and that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer remix is just fucking lit as shit. Special guy. I haven't even gotten into his movies. Maybe at some point I can convince Matt to do like a top 5 DMX movies with me. I don't even know if he did 5, but Romeo Must Die, Exit Wounds. I feel like he was in like Half Past Dead at some point, but Cradle to the Grave. There's more than that out there, but those are the ones that I fucking loved, man. This guy, early 2000s, like Exit Wounds is just, man, that movie's spectacular. I know out there, like Steve, you're probably the only person who knows what the fuck I'm talking about right now, but I love that fucking movie. So DMX, rest in peace, man. It's fucking sad to see the greats go. But let's get into, you know, what we generally like to talk about here, some happier things, some happier times. In addition to the Mighty Ducks dropping today, we also got our 4th episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I have impressed myself week over week now, not only by the fact that I've been watching this, but that I haven't called it the Winter Soldier or Captain America and the Winter Soldier in like weeks. I'm fucking on it, dude. So, you know, we started off with this really sick fucking part of the people in Wakanda trying to trigger, and I'm just not even going to bother with names on this one. It'll be too tough for me. But we're in Wakanda, and they're trying to trigger Bucky to go off, to become the White Wolf again. Well, essentially, they don't want him to go off. They're trying to see if he's cured in a way, if he's gained the amount of self-control over his, you know, his power and his strength and his anger and what they've done to him and the torment they put him through. And I thought this scene was great because you've already seen in the last episode Zemo tried to use those words to trigger him, and now you're seeing what he went through to rid him of those demons and kind of wash those things away from himself. And I thought that was just a really intense, great way to start things off. Before we get into this episode, which is largely centered around, you know, trying to talk down the head of the Flag Smashers, which again, I'm not going to try and do names. Like, I'm sorry. It's not how this brain works. It doesn't do names well. And I don't think you want me calling everybody Carl. Well, and we'll get a little bit of feedback after this episode, but I don't know if you want me to do that. So in this sense, the head of the Flag Smashers, we're trying to talk her down through a passing of one of her mentors, one of the people who looked after all of the refugees, or I know they don't want to be called that anymore, but I don't remember that either. So displaced people of the world, was that what they were called? Something like that. So we're kind of trying to follow up on leads there and figure stuff out in that regard. So we get the Winter Soldier, we get Sam, and we also get Zemo going to this like orphanage or school of some sorts. And it's like the cops at the party. They're just so obviously cops. They're not like, it's like when you see the person in I'm trying to think of like a good example of this. I feel like it's like, what was that movie with Nick Cannon? Was it called The Freshman? And it was like he was supposed to be a cop that went back to school, or even like 21 Jump Street for that matter. And it's like so obvious that these people aren't cops because they look like they're 30, but they're in school. That's what it looked like when Sam and Bucky were like walking through this orphanage. It's like, dude, nobody's going to give you a fucking information while you're walking around flashing a badge, you know? So outside, we have Zemo, who is apparently the smoothest motherfucker out there. And but he's always carrying around Turkish Delights now. I think that's a weird fucking trait to have. We had seen it earlier in the episode. He said that everybody loves Turkish Delights, and then he shows up at this orphanage with Turkish Delights. Red flags. Because how is there nobody stopping these kids from taking candy from a stranger? You know? Like, where is everybody at during this? And I guess my next question, because I was like, these kids have clearly been told at some point, they're like 10, you don't take candy from a stranger. So how desperate would you have to be to take candy from a stranger? Because I can't think of any other reason why they would, right? These kids just don't have a lot, and all of a sudden this dude's handing out food, and they're like, well, I'm not going to say no. You don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? I don't know how desperate I have to take. I don't even think those candies look that good. I've never had a Turkish Delight. They seem like they're all the rage all of a sudden, though, and I might have to order some. If you know what they taste like, please let me know. I'd love to find out. They didn't look appealing, but you know, I'm not a huge sweets person, but I'll give it a shot. Is it sour? Is it sweet? Is it savory? Tart? I have no other descriptive words for candy. That's all I got there. So as I'm watching this episode, and we're kind of seeing things unfold here, where Zemo gets some information whispered in his ear about the whereabouts of the funeral, the services that are going to be happening later on, where Sam might be able to go and talk down, again, the head of the Flag Smashers. I suppose, again, I could just look this up. It's like, dude, you should be able to just look some stuff up, right? So anyway, yeah, they go in, they're going to find out the head of the Flag Smashers. They're going to talk to her. Zemo gets the information, but he won't share it with Bucky. He's like, nah, I'm cool. I'm not going to give it out. And somewhere in this time period, he gives at least to say, I know the location. You're going to have to follow me. On the way, we get the return of New Cap and Battlestar. And they're like, dude, what the fuck are you guys doing? You've broken this man out of jail. That wasn't cool. Which they were like, we didn't do it. He kind of broke himself out. We might have helped, but like, you know, he did the work. So they decide they're going to have to follow through. They're going to have to get any information here. We're going to have to just trust Zemo's got something. But the good old New Cap is still somewhat weary. The girl's name's Carly, by the way, and I won't forget that now. Carly. So at this point, we go and Sam has to kind of talk him down because New Cap, it's always a pissing contest with this dude. So it's like, I need to just go in there, balls to the fucking wall. I need to make a point that I am Captain America. I'm that dude. Check me out in this suit. Sam's like, dude, I do this for a living. Like, I've talked down soldiers my whole life. Just trust me, I got this. So he gives him 10 minutes. He's like, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to go in. And what I found myself thinking about at this moment is I've really enjoyed this episode up to this point. But at the same time, I do realize that largely nothing's like happened, you know? There's no, for the first 10 minutes or so, maybe even 15 minutes, there's just, you know, there's largely just dialogue. Bailey is barking. Bear with me for a moment, everybody. All right, and we are back. So, first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, there's just not a lot going on in this episode. It's a lot of dialogue, but it's good dialogue. It's stuff that's like, I think is informative, and I think a lot of what this show has been for me is, I think from the beginning, when all of this lineup for Disney was announced, it was all largely predictable, right? I think we looked at, of all of the shows they told us about, you know, we have Low-Key, which just got a trailer that I didn't watch, if I'm being honest, so I can't give any opinions on it. Next week, we'll probably do that on Tuesday, huh? So keep an eye out for that one next on next episode. But, you know, we had Loki, we had WandaVision, we have the animated show that What If is what it's called, right? What If, and there's one other one I feel like I'm missing, but either way, we also got the announcement of this, though, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. When we looked at those on paper, we all kind of knew that this would be the most predictable of all of them, right? we knew that it was going to be who was taking over the mantra of Cap, and it was going to be a team up or a buddy team up. And I think we've gotten maybe more than that through all of this. But I don't think predictable is a bad thing. And I only bring this up because I had a conversation recently with somebody, and they were telling me that this is a bad show and that, WandaVision was significantly better, and I didn't agree, and I still definitely don't agree. This is more my speed and more my cup of tea, just to be honest with you. So I'm going to tell you this is better regardless. Totally biased, not disagreeing with that whatsoever. I understand that, but I don't think that predictable is a bad thing. And I can't agree based on the fact that, like, because this is slow, I don't think it's slow. I think that there's still a tension to this. It's just that we know where things are going, but it's how we get there in this case. So the difference with WandaVision was that there was so many questions, right? There was a ton of stuff that we just didn't know. Bailey's back, so hold. Okay, and we're back again, I guess. I told you she was going to find a way to get into this at some point or another. So the thing that made WandaVision great, I think, was just the questions, or at least for me. Again, I can only speak from my perspective on it, right? But I've said this before and I'll say it again. That show was fantastic, I think, till about episode 5 for me, because there was a million questions that I had and I had no fucking answers to any of them. It was just like a wacky ride, right? And we've never gotten that before from Marvel. So it was super exciting in that regard too, that it was so different than anything else they've ever offered us that I think we're going to love it no matter what. But there was no action to that. There was nothing more than just great acting performances by the two leads, and obviously more supporting casts outside of that, but the two leads carry that whole thing. With this, it's always been a little bit more straightforward. I don't think we went into this with a ton of questions other than who was going to be the new Cap. And they answered that for us within the first episode, right? Like, we knew the answer to that was. Now the question has been, or, the next step has been, we know this Cap can't be the real Cap, and he's probably going to go bad at some point, but how? Like, what's the journey going to look like? And this episode informed us of a lot of that. And even though this is somewhat paint by numbers, and I could see where that would be an argument, I've enjoyed the action to the episodes that they've given us so far, this being maybe the best of all of them at points. I've enjoyed the acting and the character builds that we're getting. We're getting different views on some people like Zemo that are now becoming, I think, favorable for people, fan favorites even, especially with like the dance moves. I saw there's like an hour and a half on YouTube where you can just watch him dance consecutively. I would never do that, but you might if you have that interest. Check it out, dude. Do your thing. So this is all in pursuit of the super serums, though, right? So this is all to get to Carly, to try and talk her down, but to also make sure she doesn't grow this super person army. And that's what she's trying or thinking about doing on her side of things. Hiding the vials in a super cool little like cemetery thing. I think you should have just left it there, though, instead of bringing it to where you were and nobody was actually protecting it. That was a little weird. So we get the scene where Sam is talking to Carly, and it goes really well. Like, he's breaking down walls. They actually just seem like they have a fantastic rapport with each other, and that they're able to just immediately mesh and gel. And he found common ground, and you see that the experience that he told you he had to talk to, veterans that have gone through stuff and things, similar situations, it's all there. And he was able to immediately get right back into that. And it was great. But we have Auntie McPantsy on the other fucking side, Captain America here, getting all hot behind the collar, and he thinks he wants to go in there, and he's just fucking jonesing for some violence, right? So he rolls in and he fucks up whatever good momentum we had built here, and from here, it's an all-out chase trying to catch up with Carly, trying to get up to her, and it's to no avail. It's to no luck, right? Nobody's happy about it. We go back to the apartment. Shortly before the apartment, though, actually, while I'm thinking about this, there was one other question. I don't know if anybody else noticed this out there. So when they lose her in this like maze of a building that they're chasing her through, right? There's a scene where Bucky and Sam come across each other, and they're like, "We lost her." But there's a person in the background of that scene, and I, for the life of me, is that somebody we should know? Or am I like, why was there just a person randomly in the background of that scene, and why'd they do that? It if anybody else noticed it, I might just be weird, but it's in the background of that scene. They come across each other in the hallways, and it's just like, we lost her. And that girl's there, and that's all it is. It's just a really quick thing, but it seemed odd to me. But we go, but that's when we get to the apartment, and in the apartment, we get the return of the ladies from Wakanda. They call themselves something. It's long and complicated. I can't remember it. But we get their return. Then we also get our next Captain America sighting. He shows up. Everybody wants Zemo. Everybody wants answers. Nobody's giving them, though. And essentially, we just have Captain America trying to be like, ladies, I'm Cap. Like, we can work this out. You have no jurisdiction. And they're like, bitch, we're from Wakanda. You don't even have that shield if we don't fucking exist. So suck my dick. I have jurisdiction everywhere. That's essentially how that goes, right? We get this dope fight scene. Fists are flying, Battlestar's getting tossed all over the fucking place, and Cap gets his manhood challenged, essentially. And this is like the crusher to the mental state that we've seen deteriorating throughout this, movie at this point, right? Or in the movie, this TV show. This kind of downward spiral that we're all expecting to pan out to evil Cap. And this is where we're getting our next step in there, is that the mentality that this guy has is that he should be the greatest, right? And I found myself asking the question, and I don't know if anybody else is asking themselves this. Can you empathize? Can't speak. Empathize. That's the word. With him a little bit in that there's a lot of weight on your shoulders to be the new Captain America, to be the new Steve Rogers, the face of the country, right? That's a lot on your shoulders, and that's on him to take that responsibility, and he did that, so he's got to own it, right? This whole time, though, I guess, did we know that he didn't have the super serum? Because it seems like a big part of what Captain America was. Like, Steve Rogers without the super serum, we saw what he was in First Avengers. So, like, to pick a dude off the streets and just expect him to be Captain America, but not give him all of the tools to be Captain America. Now, whether or not that would expose quicker, whether he was the right or the wrong person, is a whole different question here. But it just seems like we shouldn't even have another Captain America if they're not being pumped full of their super serum, or if they're not going to have more than just a shield. Because, like, I guess I should have known he was just running around with a gun, but I had hoped they would have shot him up with some stuff. So I just think he has every right to be a little upset, because it's like, dude, you didn't even give me everything I need. And there's a lot to back up, and I need those tools to be able to do it. That's why Steve was so good. The part that he doesn't see in the intangible in it is that Steve was just like an all good all the time person, and like he couldn't. And what they kind of have the discussion throughout this episode is like, Zemo asked Sam, would he have taken the serum? And then we also get Battlestar talking to new Cap about, whether or not they would both take the serum. And it's just this question throughout it of like, does the serum make the person crazy, or is the person's inner things just also emphasized or enhanced the same way the rest of his strengths and abilities are? It seems to be that that's more the latter, is that like you choose what you want to do with the power, because it seems like for the most part, Carly feels vindicated in what she's doing. And yeah, it's pretty brutal to just bomb people and not care about it, but she seems to have somewhat of a heart for it. Whereas what we find that once Cap's ego is tested and he loses to females who don't even have super strength or any powers, the excuses are gone. He's just not good enough, and he's not up to snuff. So when faced with the opportunity, when Zemo has broken all of the vials of the juices, he's able to steal it, right? And he now has the opportunity, and after it gets his ass whooped, he had to take it. And in essence, what it does is it sends him into a fit of what I would say is roid rage. When he already seemed largely unstable up to that point, this just fucking souped it up to another level, right? So he goes into the building. They lose Battlestar, and it's like, we need to go fucking find him. They're going through the whole building. They're beating the shit out of people, right? Left and right. They're just getting into fights, taking people out. Again, really good action. I enjoyed this a lot. Battlestar even frees himself. We get a scene where they're in kind of like a cafeteria setting, and they're fighting. Man, new Cap is being held on both arms, which I thought was weird also, because it's like, you're a super soldier. You've now been like throwing your shield through walls. Like, we see that you're all juiced to the gills, but you're able to be held by a person who, and now I guess that other person is also a super soldier. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I can't remember if that was the other person who had the serum injected on them. That could answer the question for myself. But Carly is about to roll up on him and snuff him while he's got the hands behind his back like he would in like a basketball court in the 90s, right? He's rolling up on him. He's going to hit him when Battlestar makes his return. And again, like what this guy's here for is he's like the tag team partner who's not protected. He's here just taking bumps left and right, getting the hell beat out of him. But I found the other question I had while I was watching some of the fights, initially, one of the things that stood out to me was Sam throws this like mean spin kick and it catches Carly earlier in the episode or 10 minutes prior to this. And I was like, well, she probably doesn't have any martial arts training. And she just now has all this fucking strength, right? And I feel like that's what happens here is that when Battlestar blocks her and she just goes to hit him, it's not even with malice or anger that I think she hits him. Not that she doesn't want to kill him. She's made that very clear that she wants to kill these people. But it's almost like she can't control her power to me and she just hits him, doesn't know how hard she hits him, and essentially like makes it so this dude would fucking shit his pants basically with how hard he hits him. Which was only weird to me because it was a poignant moment. It was very big. It had to be there. It was only weird to me because like a little before that, Bucky had kicked somebody through a wall. And Bucky's also a super soldier, kicks a person through a wall and then like makes a joke after it. And it's like, well, if that didn't kill the person, how is this going to do it? That's the only answer I can have is that maybe she just doesn't understand yet quite the same way to control that power, right? It's so fresh and so new to her. The same way with Cap that we'll find that like she just acted on raw anger and it's just more forceful that way. So this obviously leads to a very tough reaction from New Cap. This is his best friend. This is his brother. This is the person he's brought into this fucking ordeal. And now it's the same person who's dead. And it breaks him. And it breaks him. He massacres somebody in the middle of the streets, right? And the whole crowd watching, everybody's got their phones out. Everybody sees it happen. It's on videotape. And you get this iconic final shot of this man with a shield in his hand, just blood dripping off it. And we don't know what's going to happen next. Like, can you arrest this man? I don't think so. Is he going to be a lone wolf? Is he a bad guy? Like, I mean, he's a bad guy. We know that. But, like, what stage of bad guy? Do they think we're going to talk him back off the ledge? Because the Winter Soldiers killed a bunch of people, too. So we're able to forgive that. Should we be able to forgive this if he can atone at some point? Where does the story go? There's a million questions. I, as you can tell, really enjoyed this episode. I've enjoyed the whole show. I can't wait to see where we keep going from here. Let me know what you guys thought at home. How did you see this kind of play out? Is Cap redeemable? Can we find a way back from where we are now? Was Sam going to be able to talk her down? I didn't even get into her threatening Sam's relatives, but I don't have all fucking day here. My voice is already shot. I can feel it's going to hell right now. And I don't want to keep you here all day. So I know I missed some stuff. This is the first time for me. I hope it went well. Let me know how I did. This is an hour of talking to nobody but a camera. It's kind of crazy. If I'm ever in a situation where I need to do this again, should I? Was this good? Was it bad? Again, all I need is some feedback out there. Let me know how you thought the episode was. Is this better than WandaVision? Should we even hold it to any standard that WandaVision met? Are they two completely different entities, or can they be judged as the same because they're in the MCU? There's a million different questions. I would love answers. Hit us up at For Those With Good Taste on Instagram, at Good Taste Live on Twitter. We're definitely on there more now. If you haven't checked us out on there, please do. I'm going to be live tweeting during the WrestleMania streams this weekend. So maybe I say something funny. So maybe I give you some knowledge that you didn't know about. But hit us up on there. See what's going on. Otherwise, you can find us in the chat. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. There's a bunch of people not subscribed that are watching. If you haven't yet, please do down below. We appreciate it. Tell a friend. And maybe next time, we'll have a full crew. I hope so. I'm almost positive we got to. My guy Matt will be right here. And I'm going to be right here. Bailey's probably going to be down there somewhere, maybe outside the door. Who knows? Maybe we even have a guest. There's so many possibilities. But until next week, we'll not really know. Love you. I'm out. Peace.
For those with good taste.